beautiful people? Drago here. Welcome back for Drago's deck guide. This is my second video in this series. Today we will be going over a Yasuo deck. Yasuo being a card that just recently got buffed up from a 4-3 to a 4-4. I'll talk about that a little bit in the video. We're trying to make it work. We'll go over the synergies and everything for it. I want to tell you it's a fantastic deck that you can definitely climb the ladder with it, but might have some issues as you'll come to see. Not a 0% win rate deck, so you can go home, you can tell your family that, you can sit your dad home at the table and say, Dad, I know how much you care about children's online card games. Yasuo isn't a 0% win rate deck, and he'll say, I'm proud of you, son. Hope you guys enjoy the video. Alright, let me try this one more time. Alright, so here's the deck. It's a Yasuo deck. I've been wanting to make Yasuo work for a long time now. He did just get a much needed buff. He went from 4-3 to 4-4, which might not sound like a lot, but considering how much 3 damage removal there is out there is crazy good. This actually isn't my deck this time. This is a modified version of Yasuo deck run by a gamer called Arax, recently featured in a tournament. He got second place with it. I choose to feature this deck because it does have a lot of good meta nuances that make it work very well. So we'll go over the few main archetypes. The first one are going to be those who get benefited from stuns, and those cards that actually stun themselves. So it's a very dynamic yet single-minded deck. It wants to stun, it wants to deal damage, it wants to get on the board, it wants to take you out with big flashy cards. Most of it is board orientated, so we're not running like a combo deck or an Ezreal deck, but it is very powerful if you get the right matchups. So starting off, we get Guile. Guile is in my opinion, one of the strongest stun cards, just because it's that 1 mana. When combined with your other cards, you can get 1 mana, deal 2 to 5 damage. You can get 1 mana, grant fast quick attack unit to their attack. You get 1 mana heal for 2 to 5 damage. Just a lot of good stuff. 1 mana, give a unit 1/1. It is a very powerful card. Now, the only downside of the card is it is a slow card, which means you have to play it, you can't play it the same way you do fast. So the slow cards you have to play at the start of your turn, or when there's not combat going on, or at the end of your turn. So there can't be anything happening. Which means the obvious downside is if it's your opponent's turn going first and he has the attack token, he can just swing everything and you cannot play Guile. You can't modify it. So we only run 2 copies for that. Fey Blade Twirler, arguably as important as Yasuo himself. Extremely good, aggressive card. When you stun or recall a unit, grant it 2/0, so it's not just stun, it's also recall. However, most of this is stuns. We have a couple of recall. This can get very big very quickly if you get it to stick early. I've seen 10, 12 Fey Blade Twirlers just destroy the board. You throw on some lifesteal, it heals you back to full. Very strong card. We've got Arachnoid Sentry. It is a 3 mana 3/2 stun an enemy. So everything I said about Guile, except now it has a body. It's still technically a slow card because you still have to play it on your turn, not in combat. But the fact that it comes with a body is pretty huge. You can use it, you can get Yasuo out, you can use it to trade with maybe an elusive 2/2. So your opponent plays a 4 mana 2/2 lifesteal elusive. You have Yasuo on the board, you play this for 3 mana, you kill an enemy, you put a 3/2 on the board, you get your ticks going. Fantastic card. Kai Guardian gives you barrier for an ally in hand, so this is really good when you're on the attack. Maybe you want your Yasuo to stick, you're playing against an Ezreal deck, you know that they have Thermogenic Beam in hand, they're going to remove it, you play your Kai Guardian. Can't do that anymore, you got to spend more resources now for it. Very good on the attack. Calling Strike, this is just again, nuanced tech in order to remove a few key cards like Braum, cards like Anivia Eggs, things that you really need removed. Ezreal, screw Ezreal. You guys are going to have to excuse my voice, it's a little weak today. I went running and it is very cold out and my lungs did not like it. Shadow Assassin, just a good card. You're playing Iona, you play Shadow Assassin, you play Deny. Honestly, Deny's in an okay spot. They're both a little on the... They're both barely not too strong for a nerf, but they're just strong enough to be an auto-include in almost every Ionia deck. You get a elusive 2/2, you get a card draw. There's literally no downsides to playing these cards. Deny, same way. They did nerf it up to 4, which means you can't just bank your spell mana. You have to actually use your real mana, which makes it a little bit more interactive, but it is very good for stopping those decks that really want to combo you out, or decks that just want to play big cards. You get a Harrowing, that's a 10 mana card. War Mother's card, that's 13 mana. You play Deny, they cry, you win the game. Spirit's Refugee is the sole thing stopping, you know, the gates from flooding with aggro decks against Ionia. You play Spirit Refugee, you play Yasuo. Fun fact, I believe Yasuo strikes on his stuns, so if he gets leveled up and you have a Spirit's Refugee on him and then you stun something, you heal for that amount, and then you can heal during the combat phase. Very good card. Again, 4 mana, so you can't just bank it on spell, but it's still a very, very good card. Will of Ionia, one of the best cards in the game. I actually think this one does need a little bit of tweaking. It recalls a unit, any unit, your unit, enemy unit, does not matter, it recalls it. What this means is if your opponent, if you get ahead on the board and your opponent says, you know what, it's fine, I'm playing a slower deck, maybe they're playing a Demacian deck and they have the Guardian that has tough and lifesteal, they spend 5 mana to try to stabilize. You play Will of the Ionia, completely denies their stabilization, shuts them down, lets you get in those last few ticks of damage. Very strong card. Yasuo, obviously the entire center of the deck. I've already gone over him. I will go over here. His spell stuns an attacking enemy. Usually you won't be using this because this is a little overloaded on its mana cost. It just sends an attacking enemy back to the board. I think it's in a good spot. I don't think it needs to be nerfed because 2 mana would just make it the crutch of control decks. But all in all, okay card. Just not okay enough to include on its own. Decisive Maneuver is a very, very good card at pushing out when you have a lot of board space. You give +2/+0 to everybody, and you stun an enemy, and it's fast. So the idea is that when you're playing these decks, you go ahead and you attack with everything. You wait for them to block, and then when they block a key units, maybe they leave 2 or 3 units on the side, you can stun them, deal damage, give everybody else +2/+0. Very good card. Usually made to overrun people. Intimidating Roar in the same aspect, but it's slow, so it stuns all enemies with 4 or less power. You would not believe how many enemies have 4 or less power. That is the key power point. The only people who have more than that are usually people playing Freljord or Champions. That's the only 2 people that this doesn't hit. It's a very, very good card. Legion General, one of the finishers of the deck. Legion General has Fearsome, and when it summons it, you grant +1/+1 for each unit you've stunned or recalled this game. And let me tell you guys, there's a lot of stuns and recalls in this deck. So when you drop this guy, he's usually 10+ power. When Fearsome, he just barrels through people. The only way he'd be better if he had Overwhelm, but that's insane. Minotaur Reckoner, very good card to get on the board if you can. He's a little bit on the expensive side for being such a slow card, but at round start he stuns the weakest enemy, so it's very much similar to the Avarosin 3/3 that freezes an enemy at the start of the turn. It basically shuts down their chump blockers while proccing all of your stun synergy cards. It's a good card, not good enough to run 3 copies, but it's a good card. Yone Windchaser, this is a Yasuo's brother. He's got a little tick about it in there. Yone Windchaser, you play, you stun 2 enemies, just really good card on curve. You have Yasuo out, you have, you know, Fae Blade Twirler out. So hard to say that card. You get the synergy off with him, just absolutely crazy. It is a skill, so people will be able to respond to it with Deny if they want, but if you're playing 4 mana to shut down the ability of a 6/6, you're already at. Mina Swiftfoot, one of the best cards in the game if it weren't for this little number right here of mana cost. Very powerful ability, recall 3 enemies. So what that means is it's not death, so they don't get their death rattles. It's a recall. So they put it from the board into the hand, no interaction, gets rid of buffs, gets rid of death rattles, gets rid of divine shields. Literally the best type of removal in the game. And she does it to 3 enemies, which is absolutely bonkers. Now that being said, again, she is 9 mana, so if you get to the point where you can play her, you probably should have already won the game already. She's kind of a last draw kind of unit, which is the reason we only run 1 copy of her. So this is the deck. A few honorable mentions for ideas. Katarina recalls herself, but she's just too slow. She's a little clunky. Recall's an ally. Again, it's just recalling just isn't as powerful as stunning because you have to pay for the unit twice, and it just makes it very, very slow. But yeah, that's the deck. Let's play some games with it, see how it does. Again, I'm not coughing because I'm sick. My lungs are just on fire. So, here's the hand. Obviously, this is a little slow, but we did get Fey Blade Twirler in the hand. So that's going to be fun to stick on the board. I think one of the biggest weaknesses with this deck, which is something I've struggled to reconcile, is that it is very mid to late game, which means when you fight decks that rely on the early game going in their favor, which is just about every deck, it really struggles with a lot of matchups. Now this is a control deck we're fighting. It's a control self-sacrifice deck, so they'll be looking for big minion pulls, infinite combos with Kalista. Very greedy deck. Hopefully we can get a chance to punish it. Told you, you run Ionia, you run Shadow Assassin. It's too good of a card. I think I am going to go, since we get the attack token next turn, I think I am going to go ahead and key Guardian Yasuo. This will allow him to live. This will give us a little bit of card draw, and this way we're not wasting a bunch of spell mana anyways. We take the hit. So since he's running Ionia, he's running Shadow Assassin, he's probably running Will of the Ionia. Like I said, very strong card. So there's a good chance we're going to get willed here. If that happens, we're just going to have to move on. It's fine. Cursed Keeper. An interesting one. Usually I would attack with all, but the issue is if I do that, he just blocks my Fae with this. So I'm going to go ahead and Guile the Shadow Assassin. And again, pray he doesn't have Will of Ionia. If he does have Will of Ionia, we're still hitting with a 3/3. Oh, perfect. So you can see Yasuo in the making here. He strikes the enemy unit. He deals 2 damage to it. And then I push 7. The key barrier ended up not being necessary. I was expecting something like Cursed Keeper into a sack, so it would make a 4/4. Then it would be necessary, but that's not what happened. There's the sack. Oof. It was a hard one. I think we go ahead and just play the general. It's a 5/5. Stops literally all of his units. Oh my gosh, back to back. So he was just being really greedy. He did have it the entire time. He should attack with all if he's going to attack with any. He should know that I'm not going to sacrifice either of these cards. The only thing blocking here is going to be Legion General. If he does attack with all, I might have to block with the Yasuo. Yeah, there it is. Brings me down to 8. Now, unfortunately, the problem with this deck is it runs a little called card Atrocity. I do not like Atrocity. Atrocity sacrifices a unit and deals damage to you equal to its power, which means if we let ourselves go down to 8, we're probably just going to get one of his units thrown at us. So we will have to block with Yasuo here, and then he'll probably follow it up with a Black Spear, and then I'll cry, but we'll be fine. Or a Vile Feast. There it is. Not a lot I can do about it. That being said, we're still in a fine position. I didn't play the Minotaur Reckoner here because I'm trying to play proactively compared to his reactively playstyle. So I'm going to recall this unit. Even though it is a 0 mana unit, it does have a sacrificial requirement to play. Now if he sacks this before this finishes, I'm probably screwed. There it is. Yeah, ouch. He got a very, very good hand. Every time I'm like, yeah, as long as he doesn't have this card, we win. He has that card, so. Tough matchup. Maybe I should have just passed there and punished him for being greedy on his banks. Tough matchup. The good news is we are on 7, so he can punish his playing Thresh, but he... Tough matchup. I was really hoping he would play instead of swing there. This Thresh is probably going to level up. I don't think there's anything. Oh, don't do that to me. So this deck, honestly, just... We're going to take this one. We're going to take this loss. It's fine. We'll come back. Still a good deck, just very rough matchup. Ooh, we're fighting a feisty Dalek. Oh, he's playing the deck we just showcased last time. He's playing the Braum Vlad deck. So again, deck struggles with very slow hands. Oh my god. And again, like I said in my last video, if you get this opener and then the opponent doesn't have anything to respond, you just kind of win. Straight up not having a good time. Still have hope for this deck though. God forbid we... Oh, there it is. It's fine. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. This is not a 100% win rate deck. What's wrong with my background? If anybody ever ropes you, this is what they're doing. So we played Kai Guardian on this one. So he does have barrier, which should stop the incoming attack. He'll most likely just pass here. So good on the defense, good on the offense, good card. We're swinging because we have a bunch of combat tricks to defend ourselves. Thank you. There's Vladdy. So fun fact, we can't deny Vladimir's skills. I don't know if we will, but it's a possibility. We could also try to stun him before he gets to play them, but that would require us to have a stun. So we put a bunch of blockers on the board. Hope for the best. There's a stun. Doesn't stun Vlad, doesn't stun that card. Doesn't do a lot for us, but it's fine. Everything's fine. So he's opting to keep his Babbling Bjerg alive, but he's also opting to keep my Spiderling alive. I think he's just trying to get Vladimir to proc so he can get the regen on it. Oh, I did not include that card. I felt it was too slow, but obviously he's showing me wrong. Interesting. Oh, wow. Very interesting indeed. So he will get the level up Vlad here, which will give it regen, unfortunately, but I think we'll be fine. In a perfect world, we get to stun him before he can even attack. So we could level up Yasuo right now if we wanted. Or we could play Minotaur Reckoner and prevent his Braum from getting an attack off. I think that's the play. But I'd be lying if I said I didn't want to be greedy and just stun his whole board. Clear out those two. The issue is I don't want him to grab my Yasuo or my other cards with his Braum. So like I said, in a perfect world, he would be greedy and play some cards here, but we'll see what happens. I could Will of Ione his Vlad and deny his skill, but we'll see. So that's for sure happening. Oh, wow, there's a lot of damage. I believe that's the play. He has a lot of interesting choices in his version. He definitely plays more to the ladder control over the aggro, which is fine. So this should slow him down quite a bit. If we just keep bouncing his Vlad, we should be fine. This also, I believe, levels up Yasuo. Oh, we played in the... No, we played in the right order. We couldn't have killed him, but we should be able to kill Braum now with that. Beautiful. So he's probably going to combat trick this. Wow. So again, perfect world, he goes ahead and plays another card before he attacks, but yes. So hopefully this is the part where we just stabilize. We'll see though. Ouch. He's got something in his hand he's thinking about using. Maybe it's another transfusion. If he does transfusion and it doesn't die, but it gets sent back to the board anyways, and we take another 2 damage. He's probably going to just finish me off with this, but we're hoping he doesn't. There it is. So take another 2 damage from the bleed. Maybe a slight mistake, it's fine. Unfortunately, I think that Bloodsworn Oath Pledge actually saved him quite a bit. Vlad is just too big to take down. So the one downside to the level up for Yasuo, since he's striking it now, frost effects do actually make it do no damage at all. We're hanging in, but very barely. Lord, this is not a good card for us right now. It's fine. Variance, variance. I'm sure this is a good deck once you start winning with it. How bad could it be? It's a 100% win rate deck if you throw a 1 in front of it. We never drew Fey Blade Twirler either, which again is a huge power spike of this deck. Alright, so we're against Ezreal Karma. It's the famous P&Z Ionia control, where he just says no to everything you play until he kills you in one turn. It's the most interactive deck in the game right now. Sad news for us is our deck actually requires interaction in order to do anything. If we don't get a stun stuff, we don't get a win. You ever just draw all your support cards but no Yasuo? Imagine how good this hand could be. I was wondering, the reason I gave Kai barrier to Legion General is because he's hopefully going to become a very big unit that we can just rush at them with. As is tradition, he plays extremely slow, as all controlled decks do. The idea isn't that they win the game, it's that they make you so frustrated that you lose. I'm kidding, I actually really love playing control decks. They're just very slow. But that's alright. We've got all the time in the world, and by all the time in the world I mean approximately half an hour. Wow. Damage. So he'll probably go ahead and Arcane Blast my Fae, and I can't do anything about it because I don't have mana. Oh, it goes through. Is this the legendary comeback? No, but I can dream. Will of Ionia would be very nice to draw before he drops his Ezreal. I'm actually not going to use Spirit Refugee, and I'm not going to use it because I want the lifesteal to prevent him from just draining me to death. No thanks. No smile. I hate this card. This needs to be... this needs to be 4 mana in the very least. I think this is very bad design. Karma's like peak design you want for this kind of deck because she is slow and removable, but she's very powerful once she sticks and starts going. So there's counterplay. However, this little shit doesn't care about any of the balance. He says, hey, has the game gone on long enough? I win. Does the opponent not have elusive removal? I win. When I don't win, I just wait until the timer dissolves. It's fine. If you can't win by playing normally, just make them hate themselves. Alright, I'll stop being salty now. For all you Magic the Gathering players out there, this is the equivalent of running a blue-white deck, but with actually good flyers, and also there's no reach. Wow, I leveled up Yasuo. That's so great. Can I draw him now? So, hopefully we will be able to get some big boy damage in on here. Be very sad if he Will of Ionia's me. He does have a lot of random cards from Karma, so there's a good chance he has an answer. But if he doesn't, he'll be hurting. And then we can go ahead and Spirit Refugee the 6/6 if it sticks to get a good heal. Even if I have to Spirit Refugee the Sentry, it's still just enough healing to make me feel a little bit better. Because this deck really does just come out of nowhere with its damage. Oh lord, what is happening? That's interesting. I will go ahead and deny that. But it's interesting. Maybe I shouldn't have denied it. Maybe I should have let it there and played Spirit's Refugee to try to bait him. He should have to block with something or do something proactive here. It's the idea. He has to at least block the 9-9 fearsome. I guess if he blocks that and then deals 1 damage to the sentry, he'll be fine. I'm fine with that outcome. Sorry if the particle effect is annoying. It's very good to keep track of what exactly the end results of his moves will be. Does that level him up? He's very close to leveling. Which hopefully means that he has to do something before popping off here, which means I'll be able to recall him and Karma. And he can't attack, which means he can't swing in for an Ezreal shot. But if he plays too slowly here, I can make it so he can't pop off this turn with Mina. And then we just have to pray that we swing more. Again, I really wish we would have got the Will of Ionia or Yasuo before it got to this point, but we didn't, so we're doing our best with what we have. This might seem like a close match, but this comes down to what his hand looks like. It comes down to what he's drawn, nothing else, which is why I resent this deck. Yeah, okay. I love this guy's text and his just whole aesthetic in general. Very beautifully drawn art from the art team. Each and every one of them, they just have so much flavor in life. Seriously, praises to the art team. Oh, hey, look, it's that card I needed. This is actually, might be a good thing for us, though, because with Spirit's Refugee, hopefully he won't be able to stop me from just killing him. Funny enough, I haven't seen the Chump Wump played, which I'm starting to think people are removing that from the deck since it got nerfed. Dang it! That's the one card we can't stop. We're probably dead, if I'm being totally honest with you guys. We probably undershot by exactly 1 HP because we never drew Yasuo, and we just die. But I'm trying to starve him of mana efficiency here to do the best I can. Oh my goodness. insane card. Yep. So now is where he just kills me. We can pray that he doesn't have enough. That's about all we can do. The reason we're stunning him here is he won't be able to attack and get 4 extra damage off, but I don't know if it matters enough. Again, just imagine if we had that sweet Yasuo kill right there. I miss you, Yasuo. Something I would never say in the real game. I have a feeling I might need to edit out a large majority of this game. Alright, you bastard. Well, go ahead and do this, just in case we draw. Not that. It's fine. Let's see what you got. It's all or nothing right here. He has to kill me. 14 life. That's 7 card spells. Card plays. Spell plays. Here's one. Yeah. There's 2. Oh, wait. Wait a minute. No, he actually just survives. Oh, that feels horrible. Guess I should have been more greedy and played Legion General beforehand, but the idea was it didn't allow him to do too much. Crap! Ain't no HP party like a 1 HP party, because a 1 HP party don't stop. Win or lose, he's making this very one. Oh, that's a bad card. A bad card for us. Wish there was a more reliable rally card in this deck. Thinking about running Shun Po, just so we can have a good rally. And still no Yasuo. Insane. Alright, what you got? You gonna kill me now? I think I'm dead. He's just drawn out enough at 1 HP. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. Needs 2 more cards. Now 5 mana should be very easy for him. Like I said, I guess we should have played Legion General. I was thinking that if I played it, I would have been punished for it. He would have Will of Ionia'd me, but I don't know, I guess I should have saw him and he did Will of Ionia'd me. I guess this is my fault. Deck's not a bad deck. I'm just a bad player. Scratch that last part. No smile. Again, imagine if we had Yasuo. Ouch. That's game, right? Wait, that draws 4 cards while only discarding 2. Wait a minute, that can't be right. Discard 2, draw 2. In order to draw 2. He discarded 2 and drew 4. That's not how that card should be played. Alright, that's game. I'll call my fault, but I'm also calling bullshit. See, that was the card I figured he'd punish me with, his Thermogenic Beam. If he had Thermogenic Beam instead of any of the cards he had there, he would have lost. But it's alright. 0% win rate deck. Psh. Who cares about winning? If I cared about winning, and every League of Legends player knows this, if you really care about winning, you want to pick Yasuo. It's just like in the real game, just like the simulations. Alright, this is our last game with this deck. We're running a Fiora Barrier, which is again one of those decks that rely on more how they draw than you draw, but there are a significant amount of ways to counter it. So I'm not too mad at this deck. I think this is a very hard to pilot deck. Don't like this card though. So we did manage to get Yasuo out. We're not going to be able to attack because of Bright Steel Protector. Fantastic card, by the way. This is a very, very well designed card. It seems like it's not very powerful, but it's very powerful. To be honest with it, there, I don't think I would have attacked if I were him. But he probably sees himself as the aggressor, which maybe he is. I like to think that I'm the aggressor in this scenario, though. Go ahead and do this feint maneuver. He'll probably... That's not what I thought he would do. I'm not mad at him for doing it. I think we're fine. It's just not what I thought he would do at all. Leaves us with 3. So if he does have a barrier pump like Repose, he would kill my Yasuo. But I really don't want him sticking a lifesteal unit that big on the board. And we have to say save Will of Ionia for Fiora. Ooh! It's a good deny. Very good deny. Ouch. goodness. You thought that this was a barrier for your deck, but you'd be wrong. This is an elusive deck. He tricked us. Oh my gosh. Imagine if we drew Intimidating Roar. It would just win. That's not Intimidating Roar. It's not even intimidating. That is. I think we will of Ionia here as a combat trick. Get these things going. Get Yasuo going. Yeah, that sounds right. Alright, so now we're going to play a fun game I like to call Deny and Cry, where if he has Deny, I just cry. I'm actually thinking about playing around Deny and just throwing a barrier onto Yasuo, but that won't win us the game. Deny or cry time. Please don't have a second copy of Deny. Did he just win? I think I just won. No, very close though. But we didn't lose to Deny. Mina Swiftfoot, Mina Swiftfoot. I'm not finishing that song. Beautiful. Beautiful. It's 4, 8, 13 mana. I just set him back for the price of 9 with a free body. Not to mention the 13-3 Blade Twirlers coming at you. He most definitely has a combat trick here, but I can't let him hit face, so. Alright. Can he stop my entire army here? Do I play Legion General to try to stop myself from making the same mistake I did last time? I think I do. I don't want to fall into that hole again. I really don't want to be punished for playing greedy. I deserved that. I knew what was coming, and I did it anyways. I don't think it matters. I think we have enough to push. I don't think he can do anything about it. Still painful, though. So, with this win, I can fairly certainly say this isn't a 0% lose deck. 0% win deck. Oh. Remember, kids, if you wanted to win, you should have been playing Yasuo. That's a life lesson in any game they ever release. And the games they don't release, that's a life lesson. Don't pick Yasuo. Stop being a weeb. Go home. I'm kidding. I love you all. Alright, that's the stream. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you have an amazing, amazing night.